The state of China-US cooperation in infrastructure and connectivity um, uh, uh, is considered to be different. The US follows its own way of engagement with Africa, while China follows its own. China, for example, focuses on two frameworks. One is the Forum for China-Africa Cooperation, FOCAC, and the Belt and Road Initiative, while the US had its engagements on the base of Prosper Africa, Power Africa, and the Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment, PG2. Overall, the two countries have different mechanisms of engagement, and hence the cooperation between the two is limited. The Road and Belt Initiative and FOCAC, for example, has begun quite some time. It is trying to synchronize itself with Africa's development plans, such as Agenda 2063 and its infrastructure needs. If the two countries have to collaborate in Africa on infrastructure development and connectivity, there is a need for both countries to look at Africa's agency and collaborate with Africa's plans. With respect to the two countries' efforts in engaging with Africa, probably they might need to consider having the readiness to look at how Africa's agency operates, for example. If they do not consider promoting complementary investments or supporting regional economic integration or establishing transparent and inclusive practices, collaboration between the US and China remains a challenge in Africa. Therefore, the most important aspect here is look at what Africa wants and needs and understand Africa's agency. For example, Africa has agreed to have Agenda 2063, in which Africa wants to create an Africa that Africa wants, a prosperous and developed Africa. And hence, if the US and China focus on Agenda 2063, for example, they can ally their plans, their projects, their needs on the basis of what Africa wants to achieve. Africa has also tried to establish the Africa Free Trade Agreement, in which goods and services and its citizens travel between countries freely, and hence strengthening the Africa free trade area becomes a critical aspect in which both China and the United States can collaborate. Strengthening institutions in Africa, creating transparent work together is a key as well. In my view, the US and China can collaborate in Africa if they base their activities on Africa's agency. I think Africa and China can collaborate, one, in promoting complementary investments. They could recognize that Africa's development needs are vast. Their economic activities can be complementary rather than competitive. For example, while China invests heavily in infrastructure development, the US can focus on capacity building, technology transfer, and governance support, creating a balanced approach to economic connectivity. In this connection, identifying synergies in joint ventures or co-financing initiatives between China and American companies can leverage their respective strengths, such as China's expertise on construction and US's in innovation and entrepreneurship. They can also support regional economic integration, establish transparent and inclusive practices, but the basis for this is one, respect for African sovereignty and agency. Two, prevent the dependency. Three, encourage economic diversification. And four, strengthening further African agency by jointly supporting initiatives to strengthen the capacity of African leaders and institutions to negotiate fair agreements. The US and China can ensure that economic partnerships align with the continent's development priorities. Thank you very much.